Hi, I'm Ed Yaw. At County College of Morris, we believe all citizens need to be informed about the important issues that affect their daily lives. That's why we're proud to support programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Wells Fargo, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, making healthcare work, the New Jersey Education Association, working for great public schools for every child, New Jersey Council of County Colleges, New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group, auto insurance, homeowners insurance, and banking under the principle of stewardship. PSE&G, committed to improving New Jersey's economy and strengthening its communities. And by Verizon Communications.
This is One-on-One.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
People like laughing at others, so I don't mind if the other is me.
See, you go right into the character. That's what it is.
I'm bringing families together a half an hour each week. Man, I'm doing something special.
And so I do feel successful.
Folks, normally this is one-on-one. Sometimes it winds up being one-on-two when you have two terrific people. We'll see them right now. Barry Ostrowsky is President and Chief Executive Officer of Barnabas Health, and Joetta Clark Diggs, backed by popular demand, spokesman for the Matthew J. Morahan III Health Assessment Center for Athletics at Barnabas Health. Good to see you.
Nice to see you
Good
as
to see
well.
both of you. Can I just clarify a couple things? Joetta, you are a four-time Olympian, Olympic gold medal winner?
Well, I'm a four-time Olympian. I don't have the gold medal in the sport, but I got the gold medal of life by being an Olympian.
Now, Barry, would you like to share?
I never made an Olympic team that I could recall. We were undefeated in high school football one of my years.
Yeah, Barry likes to point out that I have 4 Emmys, and he says that Emmys are not as impressive as being an Olympian. He's right.
Oh, wow. I beg to differ, but thank you.
You know what's so great about this is that there's a connection between the two of you.
Right.
But as Barry knows, there's a connection all the way back, because the Matthew Morahan Center, when it opened, the day it opened, the night it opened, I remember, there's a connection back to our mutual friend,
sure.
Rondell Morrow, who made a lot of this happen. Make the connection as to what the center is, Barry, and why it's so important, and then we'll bring Joetta in.
Well, as you point out, Matthew Morahan III was Rondell Morrow's nephew, and
who was the former CEO
of Barnabas Health. And Matty Morahan III, unfortunately, tragically died, and his family endowed this center. Matty himself was a great athlete, and so we wanted to somehow honor his memory in an effective way for young athletes everywhere throughout New Jersey. And this center specializes in evaluating potential conditions that young athletes have. So we do cardiac screening. And in cardiac screening, what was stunning to us is by doing more than 4,000 young athletes, we found 13% of them had reasons to go beyond the screening. So there they were, young prospective athletes that had something connected with cardiac that needed to be checked out further. The other specialty of the center is concussion evaluation. We see a lot of that in the public press, whether it's football or other sports where there is head trauma. Athletes are anxious to get back in the game, anxious to get back on the field, and we really have to know whether that's something that's appropriate. So in evaluating concussions, you need to have a baseline look at the neurological status of these young athletes, which we're able to have. And then in the event of a concussion, we can compare what's happened during this traumatic event with baseline. We're very excited about it because it's a statewide program. We're bringing it to the high schools and the athletic departments. We have a mobile van that we're using, and we're hopeful that parents and schools alike will embrace this. I will tell you, we can't have a better spokesperson than Joetta, because she is the personification of not only a great citizen and a great athlete, but she has a real genuine interest in young athletes. And this is what it's about.
Talk about what it means to be a spokesperson for this terrific center.
Well, I'm very excited because it allows me the opportunity to align myself with the center, because they are committed to making sure that young athletes across the state of New Jersey understand and get screenings for cardiac and coma. When you're young, and even when you're older, sometimes you don't realize the importance of prevention. And because the center is excited and they have the knowledge and the mobile units and the free screenings that they're going to have, they have their finger on the pulse of what is needed to make sure that these athletes are participating and they're having healthy lifestyles, and that's very important.
You know, Joetta has been with us several times before, and Barry and I talk about big picture healthcare issues as well, but we're talking about kids. We're talking about kids who are vulnerable, you know, and who believe that they are invincible, you know, and sometimes get into positions where they can, if left to their own devices, hurt themselves. So therefore they need adult supervisions, coaches, trainers, doctors, and parents. There's an important role to be played by those adults.
Well, I think that's one of the issues, Steve. You know, there's so much pressure on young athletes to be successful. All the role models we see on TV, all the glamour associated with professional sports, and because youth is fearless, and I think there's a great attribute there. You don't want to be scared of your own shadow. You want to be a competitor. So someone's going to have to help find the line. And what we need to do is educate parents on what that line is, and here's a great opportunity to get an evaluation of your young athlete so that we can make sure we're not asking or inviting that young athlete to do things that's contrary to his or her best health. And I think that's what's exciting about this. And I think what we stand for as a healthcare system is we would prefer to have people who are healthy.
That's right.
And so this is one of those community interventions where we can say to people, look, before you get sick or before you make yourself sick or injured, let's find out about you. And so now you know, I am healthy enough to do this activity, I'm not, I should go back to doing it, I shouldn't. But this is important information to keep people healthy as opposed to waiting for people, unfortunately, to have an event that means they're sick or injured.
The other part of it, which I find interesting, is that, and by the way, log on to the website, you can, after my name gets off there, you'll see the website that comes up. Sports injuries and rehab. I'll give you some of the areas, folks, that you can find out that actually are being taken care of at the Matthew J. Morahan III Health Assessment Center for Athletics up at Barnabas Health. Sports injuries and rehab, prevention, sportsmanship, nutrition, exercise, and conditioning. Can we talk, because last time you were here, we talked a lot about conditioning, exercise, nutrition. Talk about that part of it and how important it is.
The exercise and fitness part, you know, through my foundation, we do a lot of programs, but what we want to let them know is that if you're not healthy, if you're not monitored, then you can't compete. And it's also very important, if someone's watching this, parents, and they're saying, well, my kids are not athletes, but we still provide service and treatment for you at the center. They can still come and get screenings in the cardiac and coma area. So it's not just for the young athletes across the state, it's for all other people as well.
It's so interesting because a kid can get a concussion, right, Barry? You don't have to be a competitive athlete in a situation playing at the highest level where a head injury could create all sorts of issues.
Of course, absolutely. And again, I think every activity you're in, if you recall headlines about members of marching bands and cheerleading and the like, this is not just about the football player or the lacrosse player. I think we tend to push children rightfully, and Joetta, I'm sure, would agree, into being active. We certainly don't want children sitting on the sidelines doing nothing. So if you need to be active, let's just make sure you are up to being active, and let's find out about it. There, for years, of course, and generations before us, people didn't want to know these answers. So now that we have the ability to find these answers, why not find the answers and make sure we treat what has to be treated? But I do think it's connected to trying to make people understand that being active and using the right nutrition and making sure your lifestyle is consistent with good health is an important part. You know, we glibly say 4-time Olympian. Do people really understand what it takes to be on the Olympic team? I mean, that kind of discipline and that kind of commitment to lifestyle is something that's beyond most of us.
Right.
It's unbelievable.
And how did you put that in context in terms of injury prevention, conditioning, nutrition, all the things, this part of the things that the Morahan Center are all about?
Well, I'm going to tie in one personal story because when, you know, our time is back in the day, but the reality is back then I had a heart murmur. And when we heard that, you know, 30 years ago, we thought that was the end of the world. You know, so we had to go through screenings to make sure I was okay. But the screenings were not as intense as what we have over at the Morahan Center. But my point is that because it was identified, we were able to watch it, and when I
monitor it.
If I'm sweating, my heartbeat was higher than normal. But then it got to a point where it was nothing serious. But in some cases, it would be. So that's why the center's expertise would be great. With the heart murmur that I had, I am in no place to compare what I had to more serious heart situations. However, I was able to overcome that because we caught it earlier, and I went on to make 4 Olympic teams.
It's so important because you get that baseline information and you compare it to what happens over time, but without the baseline, there's nothing to compare it to. By the way, the website's been up throughout the entire time of the Matthew J. Morahan III Health Assessment Center for Athletics at Barnabas Health, and Rondell Morrow, your predecessor, and a mentor who brought all of us there, and if it were not for Ron, that would not have happened. Unfortunately, it happened under tragic circumstances, but because of tragic circumstances, sometimes some great leaders make something special and important happen out of it, particularly because the family came together and made that happen. So from that opening night, to think that we come here today and that Joetta is part of this, and David Deal is the other co-spokesperson. Do yourself a favor, folks. Go on that website, get the information. Parents, young people, important information, because the Barnabas Health are committed to it. To Barry and Joetta, I want to thank you for joining us. This is worth going 1-on-2.
Thanks so much. Great to see you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back right after this.
If you would like more information on this program, or if you'd like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Visit us online at oneonone.org, or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD.
I want them to remember that a cause, not a man, has succeeded. If I don't live up to my campaign promises, I want them to throw me the hell out of office. The city of New York was in my blood from the very day I was born. To be an Italian and a Jew, oy vey, oh. We are a nation of immigrants. I was not elected because of my looks, but because the public wanted things done, and they knew damn well I would do it.
Oh boy, that was a scene from The Little Flower, and you're looking at the guy who played him. Actually, he became him on so many levels. Tony Lo Bianco, actor, director, writer, producer, 50 years. He's been starring in television, film, theater. Arthur Miller's A View from the Bridge, I actually saw him in that. The French Connection, Police Story. It goes on and on. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here, Steve.
We're honored to have you.
My pleasure.
We just saw The Little Flower. That's what they called him, right? Fiorello.
They called him a Little Flower. Fiorello H. LaGuardia, mayor of New York City from 1934 to 1945.
Let me ask you, the last time it was performed off-Broadway, it's the final day of his 3rd term.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
First of all, what draws you to LaGuardia? And then how much you told our producers and a lot of other people, you became this guy.
Yeah, well, that's what we do as actors, some of us anyway. But what drew me to LaGuardia is all the things that are lacking in today's government, and the idea of having an honest man be a politician, a novelty, a fact that he took care of the people. He was a man of and for the people first. He didn't care about what party you belonged to. He ran as a Republican. He ran as a fusion candidate, which is the most important word in our English language today, according to politics. Fusion, which means you serve both parties and you hire the best people for every job, even if they voted against you. And you don't care what party they came from. And the idea of, see, my play, he starts at the end of the play, but he recants his whole life, you see? And then you understand how he became that kind of person I just described. He's a fighter, a doer, fearless. A dreamer, fearless, and he had a great sense of humor. There's, you know, in this play, it's a straight play, one-man show. You don't get 16 ovations, which is what I generally get. 16 ovations for the ideas that I wrote. You know, and the way I wrote this play, in terms of keeping it right in the middle, in the zone of honesty and words that are forgotten in the English language, common sense and logic, and the truth and the facts. So let's deal with that, and we'll have a country that we can get back to. Because what's happened now is nothing that we recognize as our country.
Have you always been this political?
I think I have. You know, I've looked back at some of the interviews that I've given before, way back, and I see that I speak the same way. So it must be. It's as far back as I could remember. When I first was asked to do this play in 1984, it was a whole different play.
Yes,
and
it's had several different names.
Yes, it was His Honor.
Yes.
And then when I was asked to do that, I first got interested and learned a great deal about him. And that production was more of a Valentine to him. But I then changed it, and then I took over. Now I own the play. I wrote, I adapted it from the original. I did it on Broadway too in 1989.
Right.
I went to Russia.
A different name.
It was, well, in Broadway, it was still His Honor.
Okay.
Then I did it as Lo Bianco's LaGuardia. Then I did it just as LaGuardia, and now it's called The Little Flower, which is his nickname, which he's called, which means Fiorello.
Yes.
His first name. So when I did it in Russia, and people would say, as I did, what do they know about LaGuardia? The truth of the matter is nothing. What they related to was the man of and for the people. And I'll tell you, the American ambassador said to me after the performance, "You have done more for our country in these 2 hours than I have done in 2 years." And that is something. And the people who come to see this show, whatever side of the party you're on, they all want to be a piece of it, have a piece of it, and on left and right, doesn't matter.
Again, so many people watching are saying, I know Tony Lo Bianco. I've seen him in so many things, but one of our board members, Ciro Scalera, called me after seeing him. He said, "You got to get Tony." And that's one of the things that drew me to this. And I just thought, I've seen you in so many things, but I didn't realize that you wrote, directed, starred in this, produced it, put it together.
Yeah.
How much, I know you said that's what we do, certain kind of actors do this. Do you sometimes when you're doing this actually have a hard time separating Lo Bianco from LaGuardia, truthfully?
No, I don't. Well, I shouldn't say no. I believe me, when I wrote it, so there's a lot of me in this play. A lot of things I believe in this play, and they're germs. Some are obviously direct quotes from him.
Right.
But then there's ideas that he put forward, like when he was in the he volunteered to be in the World War I as an airport.
Except he was only 5 feet tall.
That's right, 5'2", yeah, 5'3", yeah, exactly. Well, when I do it, I shrink, and I also put on 25, 30,
well, you are
35
a method
actor. Well, this morning I said I had to wake up 5 pounds early, right there.
I got to ask you something, big picture. When did you know that acting was going to be your professional life?
You know, it was in high school, and a teacher
in Brooklyn?
Teacher in Brooklyn.
By the way, we should tell folks as we talk, I'm hoping that you're actually going to write this autobiography about your life.
I am. I'm in the process of doing that, and we're doing very well. We have some wonderful interns. I tell stories. I'm a great storyteller. I have a big background telling stories, and they record it, they type it out, we put it in a file.
Okay, I threw you off. I'm sorry.
That's
Acting,
okay.
You knew you had a teacher.
Well, a teacher took an interest in me. This is very important stuff for every teacher out there, because I love to teach and to give. And because I saw it coming. She was so wonderful because the way she taught me was by correcting me as we spoke. You know, we would have conversations, and I would, a Brooklyn kid, you know, I would say things like, "I'm going to catch a buzz." She'd say, "What?" "I'm going to get the buzz." What buzz? You mean the bus?" "Yeah." She said, "No, it's bus." And then she would say to me, "What do you mean with?" "No, it's with. I don't hear the TH. Where's the TH?" And so I would say, with. So that way, I knew, it was simple. It was easy. I just knew that when I was in her presence, and I liked her, and she liked me, and so it was someone was going to please. And the other thing was that I was aware enough to know that if I kept saying buzz and with and spoke like a guy on the corner,
yes,
that's exactly where I was going to stay, on the corner, if I didn't improve myself.
That's right.
To be who we are today,
right.
You know, and you know, so
the rest is history.
Yes,
well, I can't wait for that book. Hey, could you talk to me real quick about the Wounded Warrior Project?
Yes, this is another project that I am deeply involved in. not only the wounded warriors, but the building homes for heroes.
Yes.
Anything we can do for our veterans coming back, we must bend over backwards and do. We have to keep giving these people who have given to us their lives to protect us. They volunteered. They're young men and young women going into the service. And we're talking about allowing kids to get a pill after birth pills at 15 years old without the permission of the parents. It's nonsense, absolutely nonsense. And stopping the smoking age. Not that I'm a big smoker at all. I don't smoke, but you know, what is it? He's going to raise it to 21, but the kids can go into the army at 18. There's a whole bunch of stuff. We just got to keep supporting them, getting them money, doing what we can.
They've given
for
so
them.
much for us.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Well, Tony, you've given us a lot, and I thank you for all the work you've done for the past 50 years, but also more importantly, we look forward to your continued work. We look forward to the book, and you honor us by coming over and doing the show.
You're the best. Thank you, sir.
Stay right there. Thank you.
God bless you.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stay with us. We'll be right back on One-on-One right after this.
If you would like more information on this program, or if you'd like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Visit us online at oneonone.org, or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD.
Dr. Bette Simmons, Vice President of Student Development and Enrollment Management at County College of Morris. Good to see you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Let's do this. We've talked a lot about higher ed with different guests, but you talk a lot about the complete college experience being so important. What does that mean?
It really means making sure that the student has an opportunity to take what they learn in the classroom and deliver that outside the classroom through their involvement through a student leadership program, through campus activities, performing arts, athletics, making sure that they get a full college experience in every single way.
Where does that fall short for so many of us who are parents and want that for our children? Where do they miss it? Say you want to get a head start, but you don't want to micromanage and be one of those helicopter parents hovering over you, the kid. It's not a kid, an adult. How do you avoid that but make sure it happens?
Well, you know, we talk to the parents about how we all have to be partners in the student's experience. And so we don't want to shut the parents out, even though there are those who hover, and probably hover a little bit more than we would like them to. But making sure that they take participation outside the college so that they're still involved, but then giving the student the opportunity to really develop his or her skills and let us work with them to develop those skills and trust that we're going to help them become really productive citizens for the future. And so whether that is having them participate in our clubs or organizations and our leadership role, let them just be college students even at the community college level.
Talk about your institution itself. Very diverse population?
Well, a bit diverse, yeah. You know, County College of Morris is reflective of Morris County, so we're predominantly white, but we do have probably about 12% of our population is Latino, 4% is African American.
But age-wise?
Age-wise, we're very traditional right now. You can get there, and we have a student who is 10 years old, and our oldest student is 92 years old.
That's what I mean by diverse.
Very diverse, very diverse, and the 10-year-old is a delight to work with.
Is that right?
Yes, he's great. He tutors in calculus.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's great.
And by the way, the thing I'm curious about is you've been at County College of Morris for, is a misprint, how many years?
33.
33 years.
33 years. I started there 33 years ago, and I've had multiple responsibilities along the way.
But the level of passion and enthusiasm that you have for your work, we've talked to Dr. Ed.D, your president,
yes.
Who's been an important player in your career,
Very
right?
much so, very much so.
How do you keep the passion, enthusiasm, and commitment to these students?
It's realizing where many of the students come from. In so many cases, these are students who have been told, you will not be a college student. And when we work with those students to get them to be good students academically, and then have them participate in our campus leadership program, and then see them graduate and move on to their four-year institutions, we know that we help them along the way. It just gives me joy. And it's what keeps me looking as young as I do, too, I think. I think. But it's just wonderful to work with folks who are so committed to the education of a student and not just pushing the student through the educational experience. And that's what we do at CC.
Biggest misconceptions out there about community/county colleges would be?
That we're the 13th grade of high school, and we're not. We like to say that we're the first year of your college education experience, and we're going to treat you that way. And when you walk into that classroom, it's not like being in high school, it's like being in college. And at County College of Morris, it's also about being the complete college. And Dr. Yall likes to say that we have everything that a four-year school does except the dorms. And I like to remind him, we have students who sleep in the lounge, so I think we have dormitories as well. We have a college experience for the student, and it's a very serious academic experience for our students.
The economics, difficult?
Not too. We're very economical. When you figure that it costs our students probably about $4,000 for the whole year, $4,000 from soup to nuts, whereas if they went on to a four-year school in the state of New Jersey or private school elsewhere, they're going to pay $30,000, $40,000. So the first 2 years, it's a wonderful economic decision for the student. They can save some money, and then they could eventually transfer to the school of their choice no matter where it is. And you know, I'm proud to say that right now we've got students who are transferring to Cornell, to Dartmouth, to Brown, to Stanford. They're saving money at the front end so that they can have the money to spend at the college of their choice on the back end.
Talk to me real quickly before we finish up the award you won, the Pillar of Profession. What is that about?
There's a National Association of Student Personnel Administrators, folks who do what I do on a daily basis, and I was nominated by my colleagues around the country to be a pillar of the profession, that I've really given back to the profession, to strengthen the profession, and to be very focused and committed to the students that I work with at the community college. And some folks spent some money in support of my nomination, and so I was nominated 2 years ago as a pillar of the profession, one of, I think, only 11 in the country at that time. I'm very proud of that because I've spent my whole life in this profession, so it's nice to give back.
So interesting in the time we have left. I'm curious, not only are you passionate about what you do, you love what you do, you get personal satisfaction, not just professional satisfaction. You get personal satisfaction, don't you?
I do. I do. I wake up every day, I'm excited about coming to work. And I would imagine that after 33 years, some people would just kind of be struggling to get up to go to work. But it gives me personal joy to work with the students. I have to work with a student every single day. Every day I have to meet with a student, even though I'm at an administrative level. And as I said before, to see them move through the spectrum of their life, deal with the obstacles that they have to deal with, and see them succeeding and gain their goal. That's a professional accomplishment for me, as well as a personal achievement, to see my students achieve what they're starting out to do.
You just call them my students.
My students. They're my students.
Well, on behalf of all of us in public television, I thank you for what you're doing, Dr. Bette Simmons at County College of Morris.
Thank you very much.
I just hope we can keep it up for another 33 years.
I'll give it my best.
Thank you.
One on One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One on One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Wells Fargo, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, the New Jersey Education Association, New Jersey Council of County Colleges, New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group, PSE&G, and by Verizon Communications. Promotional support provided by the Star Ledger and NJ.com, and by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine. One on One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System.